Hello guys, here is Emmanuel from DiceTuga and we're finally there. Today it's the second part video of my top 20 games of all time. We are going from 10 to 1. Very excited about it. Keep in mind, this is my personal taste. You might have other tastes. We need to respect each other. I might not have played as much games as you have in life. I started my hobby last year, so my taste might be irrelevant for you or might be not the same as yours. So let's try to be respectful about that. But yeah, I was very surprised about these top 10 games that are here. They are all here next to me. And so I'm very excited. I follow the same rules as on my previous video. There is no games that I played only once. All of these games that are here, I play them multiple times. Those are games that I can set them up and almost explain the rules without looking at the rule book. So I know all of them. None of them are Kickstarters, like games that are not yet available in retail. So I try to be fair. These are all games, maybe some more difficult than others, but these are all games that you can find somewhere in retail. So without further ado, let's just jump right in. Number 10. Number 10 is a game that is actually the little brother of another game that I own that I still didn't open. Why I chose the little brother instead of the big brother is because the little brother is so easy to set up. The scenario is within a book, so each page is a part of, not the dungeon, but a part of the city where you will play, and it's just so easy to set up. And with the helper app that the fans, I think it was fans that made it, is available, I don't need to set up all the components. You probably already know which one I'm talking about, and it's Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. This box has a lot of content, and the fact that you have a book, let me see, I think it's even right on top. You have like a book with all the scenarios, and it opens. This is one scenario, so this is all that you'll play in one scenario, and then you have other scenarios that have more in other pages, more area, and you can even use a supplemental scenario book that allows you to expand. So, but it's all contained in these 2-3 pages. There is no more. It will not take more than this on your table, and this is so easy to set up because there's no tiles. You just open, it's set up, you place your heroes, your characters, and you are good to go. So this makes it super easy for people to start in Gloomhaven, because not only it's easy to set up, it's also the first 5 scenarios. They are also kind of a teaching guide for new people to Gloomhaven. They say that after the 5th scenario, you can pick up the big box of Gloomhaven and just start playing it, because it teaches you the game throughout those scenarios. So I play those first 7 scenarios, and I can tell you that indeed they add little by little complexity into the different scenarios, which makes very easy to learn. Gloomhaven, I mean, there's no need to introduce it a lot, right? It's kind of a dungeon crawler. You have your characters. You can play it 1 to 4 players. And the neat thing about Gloomhaven is always this card system, that you have your hand. You choose 2 cards that have each one of them initiative, and then you choose to play one action on top of one card and another action on the bottom of one card, and that's how you play, and that's the challenge. So it's a very nice game. Don't know if new players should take this, because this is, even though it's an introduction to Gloomhaven, it's still might be a bit overwhelming for new players. But yeah, after some months playing other games, I didn't find any difficulty to play this one. So, and this is designed by Isaac Childress, the same designer as Gloomhaven and Frosthaven, published by Cephalofair Games. And that's my number 10, Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. Before we go to my number 9, I just want to let you know that sometimes you might see me looking down. It's because I have my phone here where I'm looking at some information about the games, like the publisher name and the designer name. I don't want to destroy their name, so sometimes I have it here so that I am able to pronounce it properly or at least try it. Number 9. Number 9 is a game that, well, you know, I was in the board game store and I knew nothing about this game. I didn't even knew that it was released. And I look at it and I was automatically convinced by the cover itself. I didn't know anything about the game. I purely bought this game for the cover. But then I knew the designer name and I knew other games that he designed. Didn't play any of them, but they are considered very good games. So I kind of bet on this one and I'm not disappointed. And we are talking about Sleeping Gods. I played the full campaign from Sleeping Gods and I had loads of fun. I still have some issues with some of the things. I find that sometimes you might have a bit of grind because the quests, let's call it like that, are not clear, and so you find yourself going through the map to find out what is the number in the storybook that will trigger that quest. But overall, I had loads of fun. They might correct that in the future, but yeah, you have a lot of content. Look at this book; it's huge. This is just story. You see, it's just story. All of this, it's just story. What you will encounter during the game is that you will go with your ship to some location, and then yeah, it's similar to other games. You have like an entry like 70, and then you need to read the part 70 here on the storybook, and that part might lead you to another part in the story. So that's how it works. You need to make some decisions, of course, some good, some bad, but overall I had loads of fun. So basically you are a captain and you have your own crew. If you play it solo, it might be a little bit overwhelmed at first because you are controlling, I think, 9 characters. So it's the 8 crew ship members and the captain. So you are controlling 9 people. In the beginning, yes, it might be overwhelmed because you're like, okay, now I can do this with this one, I can do this with this one. But after a couple of games, you start to know what to do and they go way faster. My first playthrough of Sleeping Gods, it took me 3 hours and I didn't do much. And the rest after that was very fast. So I played one campaign, didn't got the best ending possible, I think, and you have a list of achievements that allows you to play this game more and more. There is so many entry points on the storybook, you can replay this game so much more. I got the expansions for this one, and yes, I got the new Kickstarter, the Falling Skies? I don't know, it's the one with the plane. They just they released on GameFound this year, so it will be delivered probably next year, and it seems to be a more trimmed down version of Sleeping Gods with a smaller crew member that is more manageable for solo players. I do not think I would like to play Sleeping Gods with more than one person, unless that person lives with me. But if I have to wait for my group to play Sleeping Gods with me, I might forget where I was in the story and I might prefer to restart. So yeah, I kind of enjoy Sleeping Gods solo, unless I have a person that is willing to play Sleeping Gods with me every time I want to play. This is designed by Ryan Lockhart, and published by Red Raven Games. That's my number 9, Sleeping Gods. Number 8. My number 8 is a game about developing a city. Thematically it kind of tells the like 4 centuries of that city. It's a city of France, so probably you guys already know. And it's you will have to defend in some parts of the game. You will have to defend the city, but then it's basically on investing on military service, civil service, and church or religious service. All of that depending on your individual goal cards. So because you can have some cards that kind of give you some goals, and you will be working towards those goals that maximize your end scoring. You probably already know which game it is, and indeed it's Trois. Trois is designed by Sébastien Dujardin, Xavier Georges et Alain Orbin, and published by Pearl Games. I never played Trois yet with the Ladies of Trois. I have it, it's here just behind me, but I never played it. I played it only the base game. Of course, cannot play this game solo unless you simulate a two-handed game, but this is my most played game on BGA. It's just super easy to play on BGA, and a lot of people give a lot of hate about the art. I love the art. I don't have any problem with the art. It's similar to the Trois dice that it's somewhere here, I think. There you go. So we also have the version, another version that is Trois dice. This one has nothing to do with this one. It kind of gives some of the same feeling, but it's also a very fun game. But it has, you don't expect that this is like a smaller version with dice that fulfills the same thing as Trois. It doesn't. But this is way super fun, and the fun part about it is the dice. I love the way that the dice work in this game. You roll the dice, and according to what you have, you might be able to invest to do something within the military service, within the church, within the civil, and it might be interesting for you or not. And the dice are also important to defend the city in the beginning of the round. One thing that I love is that you can spend money, but also you can spend, I forgot, it's not experience, but it's something else. You can spend it to manipulate your dice, so you can re-roll them, you can turn them the other way around, but you can also buy dice from your opponents. So you can like think and visualize, he might invest this dice on this type of action, and I'm also interested on developing in the same area, and I will go and buy that dice, and they will not be able to do that action, and there is no way you can say no. This is legally allowed. They cannot reject you buying dice from them. So I love that part of the game. There's a little bit of take that, but it's not really harsh, but sometimes it's made like you use the dice that I wanted, but in the return you get some money. So, and the more dice you get, the more money you'll spend. So that's the part that I really enjoy about Trois. And yeah, it's my most played game on BGA. I play it all the time, and I love this cover. So that's my number 8, Trois. Number 7. Number 7 is a game that when one of my friends proposed me to play it, I was like, what? This is a nice game. The theme has nothing that interests me. The art was not the thing that was pulling me towards it. And so I was a bit, let's play it, but I'm kind of doing you a favor. And after playing it, I pre-ordered it the same day, because this is a game that is very hard to get your hands on. And we are talking about Obsession. Yes, Obsession. Everybody is obsessed about Obsession. In Obsession, you belong to one of these fancy families from the Victorian age in England, and you are working to renovate your state because you want to do courtship to other important members of other family, because they have the money, and you want to be able to get them into your family. And look how nicely packed this comes. You have boxes for all the families. Like you have House of York, you have Howard, you have the Wessex family, you have the House of Asquith. So, and it all comes packed like this, and you can already prepare it for every player. It's so posh, so fancy, you know. This is like kind of a game that I could see the royal family of England playing every evening, just after the tea. And so I actually speak with this accent. I try to do the British accent when I'm playing, but look how packed this comes. Oh, fancy, delightful, darling. Very cool. The components themselves are really good quality. But yeah, the theme, like Victorian family, how boring is that? I don't care about those kind of things. Okay, I'm watching The Crown right now with my girlfriend, but overall I don't really care about this kind of theme. But it just works so well. So basically, each family have their own domain. You have also your servants and they call servants, and you need to make to organize events. And in order to organize events, you need to have those servants. And so, for a certain event, you might need two I don't know how they call, two ladies helpers or something like that, or you need some type of worker to do a certain task. So it's actually a worker placement, because you are placing you are getting a tile, and you are placing your worker in that tile to obtain the bonus of that tile, and it works so well. And in the meanwhile, so it's a 16 or 20 rounds, depends of if you want the shorter version or the longer version. I always go for the longer version. And you have in certain parts of this of the time, you have what they call the courtship. And the courtship is where you are going to try to motivate someone, like two of these other members of another family, to join you in your events and to be with your family for some time, to see if they're interested. And that's how you make the courtship for them to stay. They give extra not points, but extra bonuses. They are very good, really good cards for you to use during the game. And yeah, and you have the cards. So the cards are composed by different types of people that when you play it, you get the bonus of that card. So it can be money, it can be prestige, and of course you can only play it if the event that you are organizing allows you to play it. Some cards require a higher prestige, other cards required only women instead of men, and so that's how the game works. It's for me, very well designed. I love this game, and it works so well. It's really good. Solo, yes, it's a beat your own score. Some people might be, not interested by that, but it's very hard to beat in more advanced level. This is a game designed published by Kayenta Games and designed by Dan, don't want to pronounce his name incorrect, Dan Halligan. Made recently a video with Board Game Pixels, my friend Kostin. I still didn't have time to watch it, but I'm very curious to see if there is something new coming for Obsession. So if you see stock available of this game, get it. And that's my number 7 Obsession. Number 6. Number 6 is a game that was recommended by my friend Orlando Sa. Some of you might know him. I don't know. It's a guy. He designs games. And he recommended this game as a choose your own story game. It's very similar to other games that I own, because it has a storybook. Not only it has a storybook, it has more than one. But I really like the part of there's very little components. It's basically a book, and I use my tablet to take notes of the things that I get. You have some things that you can win along the game, so some items and so on, but you can always take note of those items and you don't need to use the cards. We are talking about Legacy of Dragonholt. This game is awesome. As you can see here, you have 6 books. I played the first one, and I'm currently in the middle of the second one. You also have a map of the city, and you have other components. So this is a 1 to 6 player game. You can play with other people. I'm playing it solo for the same reasons of all the games that I play solo. I don't have someone that can jump in this with me when I want to jump in it. So I don't want to wait for people. I just play it. The art, I mean, this box, I did one post on Instagram. This was on my birthday celebration of Instagram. This was the game that I chose for the most beautiful cover that I have. It really gives me the impression of a massive world out there, and I love this game because you can do kind of a character creation like you can do on D&D. It gives you literally the liberty to, you just need to choose from some races and some classes, but besides that you can say what it is that you want your character to wear, what are his or hers weapons, and yeah, you can do anything. You can just say my character is like this. You can create a backstory. The backstory might impact some of the decisions that you might do in the future, and of course decisions, you have different paths according to decisions that you make during the game. So this is a very nice game, and I love it because I can just sit in the couch, pick up my phone, pick up the book, read through the book, and take note of the things that I might get during the playthrough. So that's why this is my number 6. Lands of Galzier kind of gives me the same feeling of Legacy of Dragonhold. They don't have a physical storybook. They use a web app, or you can even download it on your desktop. But I feel that the main story, and that's what I like about Legacy of Dragonhold, the main line of story is always there, present somehow, while here it kind of feels like there is the main line of the story, but there is a lot of other things that you can do, and actually you are forced to do, because yeah, I'm not going to explain the game, but you are forced to do those other things that sometimes you don't really care. But the way it works is that you need to do it, otherwise you lose the action, and I don't really enjoy much that if it becomes a little bit repetitive. Legacy of Dragonhold, no, I can do whatever I want and read from the book and evolve the story like that without losing track of the main story. So that's my number 6, Legacy of Dragonhold. And we're finally entering to my favorite part of this top 10 videos, which is the numbers from 5 to 1. And so yeah, I'm very excited to tell you now my number 5. My number 5 is a game that if you follow me long enough, you already know about this one just by the description of the story. It's my first game, not my first game, but the game that opened the doors for this world of board game. Yes, this is a game that I got last year. I purchased it to play with my sister, and 1 year after I got all the expansions for this game, and they all fit very cozy in this box, which is Lord of the Rings Journeys in the Middle-earth. I love Lord of the Rings Journeys in the Middle-earth. It's very funny because it's very similar to Mansions of Madness, which I didn't like at all. Didn't care about the story of Mansions of Madness at all. Didn't like the fact, I don't have anything against dice, but I found that it was purely the dice controlling the game. And in Journeys in Middle-earth, well, the theme helps a lot because it's Lord of the Rings, and I'm a huge fan, so bear that in mind. But I love the card system that they have. You have your end of cards that allow you to do some luck mitigation when you get something, you need to do some test or something. You can do some things with the cards, and they have also special powers that can help you in some certain situations. So I really find the card system of Journeys Middle-earth way better than whatever we had in Mansions of Madness. This is an app-based game, so if you guys don't reject completely app games, then yeah, skip this one. But for me, the app is essential. If you didn't have the app, you would have to have someone playing as Dungeon Master, or you would have to follow a flow chart in order to know where I need to place the tile, where do I need to place the bad guys. With the app, it's not the case. Hopefully they continue supporting it for a while. Otherwise, I hope that a generous fan will release a storybook, a fan-based storybook, so that we can continue playing the game even though the app is not available. This is a dungeon crawler. Each playthrough that you do, you are playing a scenario. The app generates the map for you and the locations of enemies or points of interest. The points of interest you might go and investigate. They might trigger an event that you after have to test your skills with your cards, and the event will be positive or negative. So that's what is the fun about the game. And you will also be able to collect some items and improve your deck, your hand of cards along the different scenarios, making you more powerful, like someone that gets more experience. So that's it. That's my number 5, one of my favorite games of all time, and that's Lord of the Rings: Journeys in the Middle-earth. This game will never leave my collection. Number 4, it's always this one and Journeys in the Middle-earth are always head to head to see which one is going on in first. And it's true that I played the number 4 more this year and recently, so I still have this feeling of playing it recently. It's a game designed by Awaken Realms. This is usually a game that for 1 to 5 players, but it's a semi-co-op. But I never played the semi-co-op part, which some people have some complaints about. I purely played it solo by controlling 2 characters, and I love it. I don't know how the game is semi-co-op. It is supposed to be played semi-co-op, but they have a solo variant and a cooperative variant, and that's the one I play and I love, and that's Nemesis. I love Nemesis from Awaken Realms, designed by Adam Kwapinski. Man, that's difficult, huh? I love Nemesis. I got Nemesis Lockdown and all the expansions. I just don't have Space Cats because it's quite expensive for what it is, and I don't have the physical doors, but besides that, and all the other extra of the real all-in package. But I got Lockdown and I got all the other expansions that came with Lockdown. I still prefer Nemesis, the original game. I prefer the feeling of being in a spaceship, not knowing what's going on, knowing that there is aliens around and that your ship might explode or you might be lost in space forever. I like this scenario better than I'm on Mars. I'm in a station on Mars, and my station might implode, or I might be killed on the station with underground and stuff like that. I like the scenario of Nemesis better. Nemesis Lockdown brings more stuff, very little, not a big deal, but you have some energies that you need to manage throughout the different levels. You also have the elevator and a little bit of more stuff. But if I have to play Nemesis, I think I will always go for the base game, the original one. If you don't have any of them, that will depend if you really care if it's in space or if it's on Mars. If you don't care, then go for Lockdown. It has more things. But if you care, I prefer the scenario of space. And basically, what you're doing cooperatively is that you are waking up in your spaceship. You don't know any of the locations of the spaceship because you are waking up from cryosleep, and that affects your memory. And the goal is, you have some objective cards that you get in the beginning of the game, and the goal is to get those objectives done. Sometimes a game can take you 20 minutes because you died immediately, like it happened with my first game, or it can take 4 hours, which also happened in one of my games, and it was a blast. I never had a bad experience playing Nemesis. And I love the fact of the noise. The noise is something that when you move from one chamber to the other, you need to roll a die for noise, for the noise that you are making. And the more noise markers that you have in each corridor, the more the probability of an alien appearing will be bigger. And so that I feel this constant panic and stress while playing a board game, which is something that I was expecting from Mansions of Madness. And honestly, I didn't care about anything that was popping up. Nemesis is giving me that feeling of stress and panic, and oh my god, if I try to go for this side, I need to roll a die. If there is noise coming, an alien will pop up and I might die. But I need to go there because my objective card is essential for me to go there. And yeah, that's why I love, and that's why Nemesis is one of my favorite games of all time. I don't play as much as I would like to play. So that's my number 4, Nemesis. Number 3, whoo, this is getting hot. My number 3 is a game from a theme that I never expected that I would care, and certainly not expecting it to be in my top 20 or top 10 games of all time. I got the game honestly because I saw some playthroughs, and the game really interested me in terms of mechanics. The art is gorgeous. I love the art of this game, and it's the first game that I read the rule book in half an hour. I never went through a rule book without falling asleep. This is the first game that I read the rule book from beginning to end, and I played the game immediately after. This is not a solo game. There is no solo variant up until this point, I think, but I simulate sometimes games of 2 players where I control, I simulate the 2-player game just to be able to play this game. We are talking about a train game, and this is, of course, Imperial Steam. I love Imperial Steam. It won already a lot of prizes this year. This is a game published by Capstone Games and designed by Alexander Humer. What to say about this game? For me, it's very difficult to describe because you can see here you have a board and you have different towns. So the goal is to get workers to train those workers, and the training of the workers it's for me it's so well done, that part. I really like the part of the training of the workers to be able to do better actions. And the goal is to go from the starting point. It's not the goal, but it's the best way to get points, is to go from the starting point until the town of Triste. That will give you a lot of points, and that's what happens during the game. Is a lot of the players will try to get the best way to go there, but of course some have some kind of resources, others have other kind of resources, and some of those resources don't allow you to go to the same places. You can also improve your trains to be able to collect more resources and so on. And the actions, like the iconography of the game and the actions, they are like super easy. Like after 2 turns, you know how it goes, you know what you need to do, and I just find this game gorgeous and super nice. I love the cover. It was either this one or Legacy of Dragonhold, and Legacy of Dragonhold 1, but this cover is gorgeous. So that's my number 3, Imperial Steam. Number 2. And number 2 and number 1, it's similar to Nemesis and Journeys on the Middle Earth, because they're always like this. But number 2 is again from my favorite theme of all time. So it's, already, it's a Lord of the Rings game, and it's also my favorite LCG. If there is an LCG that I'm investing money, it's this one. This is the one that I want to have one day everything for it. And it's, of course, Lord of the Rings, the living card game. What to say? I mean, when you have a game that has Gandalf, which is my favorite character of all time, in the cover, it's an automatically top 10, right? What to say about the game? It's a living card game. In each game you play a scenario and you try to beat it. You have 3 heroes that you can choose and play with the cards related to them. And the scenarios are not easy. And I have the whole saga not the whole saga collection. Mountain of Fire is missing. So if any of you wants to give me a gift, the only one that is missing on the saga is the Mountain of Fire. So if you are generous and you want to offer me one of the best gifts I can get for Christmas, you could offer me the expansion of Mountain of Fire. If you have it there at home and you never played it and you don't care, just offer to someone who needs. And I would really appreciate it. So if you have it, go ahead, because now they are releasing the new packaging. Okay, so this is the new, I don't know how you call it, new packaging. It comes with a campaign, so you can play this in a campaign mode. Still have to try it because I think that's the way I want to play. And they are releasing the sagas as well, but in a bigger box. So instead of being, for example, the Fellowship of the Ring, instead of being splitted in two, you get a big box like this with both of them. So that's great. The worst part is that I have everything, I just need Mountain of Fire. I don't feel like spending 60 euros in a big box that will bring me the 3 sagas in it. So that's my number 2, this beautiful game that is Lord of the Rings, the card game. This is published by Fantasy Flight Games, and the designer, actually, I don't know the designer. Nate French. So there you go. That's my number 2, Lord of the Rings, the card game. My number 1 is the same one as last year. So if you know my number 1 of last year, it is still my number 1 this year. I love this game so much, and there is no need to describe. It's a big bomb. It's too many bones. I mean, this game, it's heavy. This, besides Lord of the Rings, is the other game that I want one day to get everything for it. I love Too Many Bones. It's almost like playing a video game, but it's not. There is no app, of course, so don't worry. But I love the dices. I love that even if you don't roll an attack or a defense, you can always use that dice to give you an extra power that will help you on the battle. And I played this game multiple times and in a different way. I played it first solo, controlling only one gearlock. So gearlocks are these little guys, okay? And I liked it, but the other ways that I played were better. I played it controlling 2 characters, that was better, but I found that the best way for me to play it solo was controlling 3 characters. That gave me more possibilities in terms of attack, in terms of regenerating your health, I could do with 3 characters, I could do melee attacks, I can do range attacks, and I can have 1 medic to help with the health. Even though that you might have more bosses, the game might last longer, and it will be even more difficult, but it's a better balance, I find. Never played it cooperatively, I played it completely solo, and yeah, now I got, if you follow me on Instagram, I got the big box, I forgot, the trove chest. It's just beautiful, but I still have everything in this box, so all the components. And even if you don't get the trove chest, look at these inserts. Everything is tidy and cozy nicely here. You have your dice in each insert like this. And one of the things that I love is the chips. I'm not going to take everything out, but the chips that you play with, they are a bit heavy, kind of not as, I don't know how heavy are poker chips, but it really feels nice to the touch. So now I'm waiting for the new expansion that they released on GameFound last year, to have even more gearlocks, even more tyrants. And the way it works is that you choose your gearlocks, you choose a tyrant that you're going to play in that game, which is the big villain, the big boss. And throughout the game, you go from location to location. You might meet some bad guys, and in the end, you will have to fight against this big boss that they are all asymmetric, so it has special powers. And that's the challenge, is with your gearlocks that are also very asymmetric to be able to defeat the bad guy. People say that it's very hard to learn the different gearlocks. I do not find, because you have these spreadsheets that help you understand what each gearlock does. But yeah, I would recommend to start with few and slowly building up. No, do not go immediately with 3 because that can be overwhelming. So that's my favorite game of all time. It's still my number 1. Too Many Bones, published by Chip Theory Games and designed by Josh Carlson and Adam Carlson. Oh, they seems to be brothers. So that's it, my number 1 game of all time, Too Many Bones. And that's it, guys. That's finally my top 10 of top 20 games of all time. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a comment below to let me know if any of these games are in your top 10 list of games of all time. What is your opinion about these games? I'm very curious to see the next year top 20 list, to see how different it will be. As you could see, if you saw my other top 10 list of last year, a lot of games got out, but a lot of games stayed still in the same, some of them stay in the same place. So I'm doing this for to see how the evolution goes from someone that is a completely noob in board games to someone that has still some experience. So we will see next year again with this list, hopefully. And yeah, follow me on Instagram, on TikTok. I am also available on Facebook, and where I put content daily, and subscribe to the channel, leave a like, leave a comment, and be respectful. Thank you. Have a very Merry Christmas. I wish all the best for you and an awesome 2023. So that's it, guys. See you next time.